Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to Christ Kurt Metzger. What am I talking about? Well, he recently went on the Danny Jones podcast and said some things about the Bible and, Judaism, Christianity, all this stuff, Dionysian cults. Danny pulled him up on a couple of things on it, which was great. But the one thing I would say to Danny is, when you pulled up this Exodus passage right here that he was stumbling around and you rightly called him out on, you did the right thing. But the next thing you should have done after reading the English is go to what the Greek Septuagint text says, and right there you would have seen there's a reference to the word Christ. And then you could have Christed him right to his face and upended his whole fake narrative. Let's take a look at what happened.
In the book of Exodus and Leviticus, God commands Moses to empty the blood. That's what we read.
Now, this is for Aaron, but there's one for the leaving Egypt.
Apply the blood of the sacrificed ram to the right earlobes, right thumbs.
Anyway, there's a thing where, like, if you were...
Right there.
Danny points and says, right there. It's right there. That's what we're talking about. So let's look at what the text is. And it says Exodus 29, 19 to 20. I'm going to add 21 as well because it has a reference to Christing. Because Danny did the right thing. He read it in English right here. But the one thing I would say to Danny that you should have taken that extra step and said, okay, we've read the English. This is what it says. Now, let's take a look at what the ancient Greek says, the Septuagint. So 19, we're talking about up here, top right, should take the second ram and lay their hands on the head of the ram, blah, blah, blah. Then you go, okay, let's take a look at the Greek side. 21, and hapotu helayu, the oil, tastes chryseos, the Christing oil. Danny, if you read this to Kurt, you would have said, look, there's Christing in the text you're talking about, the exact passages you're bringing up. It says Christing. And then Danny could have Christed him right to his fucking face. And then his whole bullshit narrative gets upended in real time, like it should have been. And I'll show you this because look at the Greek. Leipses is to take hold and accepting, receiving, or getting. So it says kai leipse, you take the blood, the hymatos, from the altar, through the stereo, because that's a genitive, so it's of or from. So you take it from the altar. And then the oil, helayu, chryseos. What is that? From chrysis, and you see the eos here, right behind it. From chrio, which we've looked at before, which is to smear and rub. Christing, right there, smearing. And number 2, they say anointing, but I'll show you that I've looked at before. Anointing, what does it mean? To rub and smear, the same definition. The term Christ, Christos, means to be rubbed on. Anoint. I'm sick of hearing anoint, to smear or rub. The same definition. Okay, so you heard it there from my previous video. It's the same definition. Rubbing and smearing, anointing and Christing, same thing. Anointing is way later from English. So I'm not using anointing, we're saying Christing. So what did they do? They took the Christing oil, they sprinkled it. It says, you shall sprinkle, you will sprinkle it. Second person, singular, you will do something because it's got that ending here, ace. And it comes from rhino, which means to properly with liquids, sprinkle and besprinkle with the Christing oil, because the Christing is the application of it, the smearing is the application of it. So they sprinkle it on and then you smear it on, because besprinkle isn't just to put a little bit on here and there. It can also mean to cover all over with a liquid. And what I found hilarious in this is in that second definition there as well, where it says anointing, smearing and rubbing, is also the word pharmakon. Pharmakon is a drug, and it's referencing Josephus, who we've looked at before, who Bart Ehrman, biblical scholar, said this about Josephus.
He's our main source for information about first century Judaism. And by the way, it doesn't say much about drugs.
And this is what he's talking about. Chrisesi, pharmakon, Christ, drugs. That's Josephus, your favorite Jewish historian, who doesn't say much about drugs apparently, but I've shown more than once now he's talked about drugs. See, Danny, you could have brought this up. Here's what the English says, here's what the Greek says. And now here's the definition of the Greek term. And it's talking about Christing drugs in another source in that same definition, number 2. This is it, Exodus 29, 21. This is the exact reference. Number 2. Anointing, Christing, and then they put Josephus in the same definition as a Christing of drugs. You had it right in front of you. All you had to do is take that extra step or two, Danny, and you could have Christed the drugs right in his face. So there we have it. We just Christed Kurt Metzger with his own reference that he brought up on the Danny Jones show, because he wants to make fun of Greek and Armin Hillman later on in the show. But as you can see, what Danny could have done in real time, take that 1 or 2 extra steps and show him the sources and show that he can Christ him right to his face in real time on the podcast. The ability for everyone to do it is there. You've just got to take the steps to do it. Don't just read the English. Go, okay, here's what the English says. Then let's go to the definition of the Greek. And you'll see most of the time, I know it's shocking to know, most of the time it actually goes to Christing with drugs in these religious texts. So I've shown you how to do it now. Now take this and go do it.